Welcome back. You know, if you and the family are looking for a getaway, but you want to stay in Michigan, well, there are many options in the Mitten State. One of them brings nature and history together in a unique way. Join us as we take a trip to historic Mill Creek. Here at historic Mill Creek, nature everywhere, eagles, beavers, even bats. But we're talking adventure today. Besides the history, Kelsey's here. I should introduce you. Hi, Kelsey.
Hi.
How are you? Kelsey knows everything, does PR for the state parks, and he knows everything there is to know about historic Mill Creek, which we have learned. But what we're here to talk today about is adventure. What can we do for fun?
So Historic Mill Creek Discovery Park has the adventure tour, which is sort of like a different way of looking at the forest. So many times when we go hiking through the woods, we think about trails and we look at eye level or we look at our feet to make sure we don't trip. But there's layers and layers to the forest. So we're up here about 50 feet to kind of see what's at the treetop, what eagles see. There's other components like the zip line, which mimics an eagle's flight over the creek. There's a high ropes bridge, which lets us know what is up at the top of the trees, looking down at the forest below.
And now we are sitting on top of a giant, how tall is this climbing rock wall?
It's about 55 feet, so you can climb up the rock wall, and that's just another way to learn about the different layers of the forest.
And absolutely, and plus, hey, the view is where it's at. You got the straits right behind us, the historic, iconic bridge, so you don't want to miss the view. So come to learn about the history, come for hiking, but adventure, if that's what you're in for, they got the zip line, they got the rock wall, they got the ropes bridge. I was told that's what an eagle sounded like. When I landed, Kelsey took us to the shoreline to give us a tour of one of Mackinaw City's historical lighthouses. We are standing inside Old Mackinaw Point Lighthouse. And let's say it's back to the 1890s and you're a lighthouse keeper. This is the gig you wanted. Kelsey, why?
Well, it's an enormous lighthouse and it's on a major landmass. It's not on an island out in the middle of nowhere. So you could get mail, you could get fresh fruits and vegetables. You saw other people other than your family.
You were so lonely hanging with just the fam on an island surrounded by the cold, cold water.
Right.
Here you got the entire city, plus the amenities here. You think of a lighthouse, you just think of that silo. This is a home, this is a duplex.
It is.
You got two kitchens, you got two living rooms?
There would be families that lived here, multiple families at any time, but they would have their separate quarters. So if you were the lighthouse keeper and the assistant keeper, you could go home separately at the end of the day.
And what we're looking at here, how historically accurate? This has been kept since the time?
This has been kept since the last keepers were here. It looks more like it would have been 1910, but the lighthouse closed in 1957 when the Mackinac Bridge opened up.
Yeah, didn't need the lighthouse after that.
Not as much.
Bright lights on the bridge.
We're up here at the top of the tower of Old Mackinaw Point Lighthouse, and we have this just terrific view of the Straits of Mackinac. But this is more than just a lighthouse, it's a whole facility. So while you can come in through the old fog signal building, which is also the museum store and admission counter, you can go to the Straits of Mackinac Shipwreck Museum, which is brand new. You can go to the barn and watch a video about Straits of Mackinac shipwrecks, and then come into the lighthouse, tour the exhibits here, and climb all the way up the tower to get this incredible view.
Kelsey, interesting fact, it's not just the light in the lighthouse that would help the ships. We're looking down on a very bright red roof.
Right, that's called a day mark, and that's when you think about lighthouses, each one is so different, each one is special, and that's so you could identify them. Even if the light wasn't on, you'd be able to tell from the roof that this was Old Mackinac Point.
So in the old days, before the bridge, they would know that one over there with the red, oh, that's the old Mackinac Old Point.
Absolutely, and architecture plays a big part in that as well. You'll notice when you look around outside that the placing of the windows, sort of this castle-like structure of some of the bricks, that's another way of identifying specifically which lighthouse you're looking at.
Really is a fascinating place to check out, that historic Mill Creek. You want to learn more about the wonderful places to explore in northern Michigan? Just visit MackinawCity.com.